Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and you saw the title, boys. We are going to be doing a LiAngelo Ball Jello career simulation. Of course, finally getting his shot back in the league, although today the Pistons did release our guy. But you never know, he can get a shot somewhere else, so we're going to go ahead and simulate his career, and of course we're going to make his potential decent, so we at least want him to do pretty well in the league, of course. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe if you are new, and let's see how Jello's first year in the NBA actually ends up going. You can take a look at him right here, and he's actually looking pretty decent, so we're going to show you real quick his kind of badges and stuff he's starting off at. A 72 overall small forward, 22 years old, of course, and he's coming with 2 badges off the rip. Not too bad. And in year 1 here, LeBron ends up getting MVP, of course, with the Lakers, doing his thing, going crazy. And if I had to take a guess, I'm going to say this Pistons team was not talented enough to make the playoffs. So let's go ahead and look at this, and wow, 17 wins. Not what you like to see, but let's look at these player stats, and LiAngelo at least got some good tick. Got to be the number 4 overall scorer on the team with 11.3 points per game and go up to a 75 overall. Obviously, we did not make playoffs, so we just kind of went right to the finals, where it's Celtics versus the Clippers here in year 1 in the finals. And as you can see, it looks like the Celtics are putting up a pretty good fight. But it's going to a Game 7, and the Clippers end up taking it. Kawhi getting finals MVP. Moving us into year 2, we have to find out where LiAngelo headed to, because he only had that 1-year contract. And he ended up going and signing with the Magic, where, of course, he's not going to be a starter this season. He's getting a $14 million a year contract for the 1 year. But coming off the bench is the 7th man, not bad. Let's see what we can do. So in year 2, you can see Cade Cunningham goes ahead and gets Rookie of the Year with the Bulls. Obviously going to be very interesting seeing him in the league now. And did our Magic make the playoffs? And we actually did, coming in as the number 3 seed overall in the Eastern Conference, which is great. Huge year from Cole Anthony, 27.5 points per game, and right around 12 a game for LiAngelo as well. Not too bad coming off the bench in that 7th man role. You can kind of see what the rotations are looking like. Getting about 23 minutes a game, so not too shabby heading into the playoffs. Although we have a very tough first round matchup here up against the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, with Trae Young. We're going to hop into Simcast and see how this one goes, boys. Hopefully we can edge them here, and it's looking decent as we end up taking it 146 to 137, a 9-point dub. LiAngelo not doing all that much in that victory, but of course coming off the bench. Second round here, we have a matchup up against Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and the Brooklyn Nets, who we end up 4-0 sweeping, with Cole Anthony having an insane game there, dropping 34 points to the Eastern Conference Finals up against last year in the championship, the Boston Celtics, who took the champs to Game 7. And, of course, we get knocked out in 5 as a very tough matchup there, in all honesty. Only 6 from LiAngelo in that game. And it's going to be Celtics and Spurs here in the finals. Of course, the Spurs did add Giannis Antetokounmpo in free agency. And one thing I'm kind of interested to see is if maybe LiAngelo goes somewhere where he'll have the potential to get a little bit more playing time. So let's check that out and see where LiAngelo actually headed. Of course, we're looking at find player finder, typing in B and going down. So LiAngelo Ball actually with the Lakers out of all teams, boys. So kind of following in the early career of his brother. So this is interesting to see. And he's coming in at 78 overall, small forward position. Should at least be the 6th man for this team, I would have to guess. 25 years old now, and yeah, they have Kevin Durant, so he's coming off the bench, actually as the 8th man off the bench. And you can take a look at our rotations, like I said, coming off 8th man off the bench. A decent team around us, and this is the type of team that could potentially win a championship, which would obviously be good experience early in the sim for him. Giannis gets MVP here with the Spurs. And let's check out our standings, and I'm very surprised to find out that this team only got 38 wins on the season, man, with KD and AD playing together. Pretty crazy to me. Obviously not the best team for LiAngelo to succeed on, only putting up 8.5 a game, not getting as many shots as you would hope. And I don't know if you saw that, but Domantas Sabonis actually got finals MVP there, kind of to my surprise. Moving us into year 4, and hopefully we get put into a better situation where we can kind of thrive a little bit more. And going down, probably about an 81-ish overall is where we would be. So 80 overall now with the New York Knicks, and he goes up to an 81 actually. Coming off the bench as the 6th man, 7th man being Devontae Graham, nothing really crazy going on there with the MVPs and stuff. But the Knicks do make the playoffs for us here with the number 5 seed. Jalen Harris leading the team. Jello putting up 12.2 points per game. Just some decent numbers. But of course his potential is very high. So if we could find him in a starting position on one of these teams, he could probably go up to like about a 90 overall in all honesty. So we go and actually beat the Magic in 5 to start off our playoff run here with the Knicks, which you love to see. Second round matchup here up against the Bulls, who now have both Giannis and Cade Cunningham. So definitely far from an easy matchup here, boys. And let's see how it goes. And we actually end up taking that game, forcing a Game 7 here, boys. Not too much there from Jello, only putting up 2 points in that W. But let's see what happens here. Big Game 7. Can we make it out of this round? And unfortunately, we end up losing in the clutch moments of the game there. Jello putting up 12 and 4, but not enough. And we're going to be watching the finals from the sidelines. Finals ends up being that Bulls team that we did take to 7 up against the Warriors. And the Warriors end up taking it in 6, moving us on to year 5 of the sim here, boys. Trying to kind of move, or I wanted to put Bol at power forward because I think that makes a little bit more sense for this team to have 2 of their better players playing together. But as you can see, we're now on the Bucks coming off the bench as the 7th man, considering Zach LaVine as this team's 6th man, which is crazy. Ja Morant gets MVP here in year 5. And let's see how our team ended up doing. 45 wins in the season. I honestly was thinking maybe a little bit better, especially because they have Zach LaVine and Jello coming off the bench. Jello putting up about 11 points, 10.5 points a game, so nothing crazy. Sitting at an 84 overall. And it looks like maybe he's actually kind of splitting time with Sadiq Bey at small forward. So not really technically coming off the bench. As you saw, they had him in the starting lineup there. And he actually led our team there in that Game 4 victory to get us the sweep in the first round. So second round here, we're up against a tough matchup in the Boston Celtics, who end up 4-0 sweeping us and ultimately winning it all. And Jason Tatum gets Finals MVP. Moving us into year 6, this man, LaMelo, signs a 1 or 2 year contract with everyone he goes to. Now with the Portland Trailblazers, a spot that it looks like he can really succeed in, 87 overall. His brother LaMelo gets MVP of the regular season, and our Portland Trailblazers are the number 4 seed here with 49 wins. Looking at the player stats, LiAngelo, despite finally getting into the starting position, only putting up 12.4 a game here. So not the craziest thing of all time. But let's see if we can have some playoff success here. Up in the first round, up against the Spurs. And far from success there as we get swept 4-0 by this Spurs team in the first round. In the finals here, we end up seeing the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics. Obviously, that Timberwolves team finally starting to come together, and you've seen the success of this Boston team already. And they get yet another one with another Finals MVP going to Jason Tatum, moving us into year 7 of this sim. Still, we have LaMelo actually staying with the same team for 2 straight years. LiAngelo staying with the same team for 2 years, which is definitely a dub. There you go. There's where I meant LaMelo getting MVP. Our Trailblazers only get 41 wins on the season. But let's see. And Jello actually led the team, boys. 22.5 points per game on the season. Now up to a 90 overall there next to De'Aaron Fox. So a huge year as far as his progression. Maybe not the best record-wise that we wanted, but it is okay. First round here, we got a matchup up against a tough team in the Phoenix Suns. And Cade Cunningham bouncing around very much in the sim from team to team. Cade dropping 40 points on us, but we could not get it done. A 20-piece from Jello there was not enough. That Suns team that did double us in the first round ultimately goes to the NBA championship and wins it all, with Cade getting Finals MVP, moving us into year 8. Hopefully we can have another hugely successful year for Jello like we did last year, despite obviously the unfortunate matchup in the playoffs of being the 8th seed. First round, MVP goes to James Wiseman. And let's see what is going on with our Trailblazers. Only 34 wins on the season, man. That's big tough. Despite Jello finally starting to go off, 24.7 points per game, getting his first All-Star team appearance here too. You hate to see that. Kings and Sixers in the finals here. And the Sixers end up taking it all, moving us into year 9. Obviously a lot of progression here from Jello, putting up almost 25 points per game last season. So let's see if we can pick up where we ended. And Bronny ends up getting his first Finals MVP of this sim. And our Trailblazers, yet again, missing the playoffs, only 30 wins. Jello putting up 24.2 points per game, getting his second All-Star appearance. Bulls and the Thunder here in the NBA Championship, and it's going back and forth with the Thunder ultimately taking it. Bronny securing himself that Finals MVP. Moving us into year 10, LaMelo finally got tired of it and dipped and teamed up with Cade Cunningham down in Miami. Also have Bam Adebayo playing alongside them, so this could potentially be a huge year for Jello boys. Cade Cunningham, his teammate, getting MVP of the regular season, getting us to the second overall seed in the Eastern Conference. Looking at these player stats, Mikey Williams as well joins up, a young Mikey Williams, and it's still about 16 points per game there for Jello, so not bad. And wow, we come in the 2 seed and we get upset by the 7th seed, Jason Tatum led Celtics, man. What a tough scene, especially with this kind of big 4 that we had going on here, man. You hate to see that. Wizards and Trailblazers here in the finals. Pretty funny that we leave the Trailblazers. They add our former brother, well, not our former brother, but our brother Lonzo, and go on to the NBA Championship here. And they lose in 7. It was going to be really bittersweet if they won it all. Moving us into year 11 here, LiAngelo, 91 overall, 2-time All-Star. So definitely a huge dub. Let's see what we could do this year since last year was a little disappointing. Jalen Lewis getting MVP. And we do make playoffs. We barely slide in there as the number 8 seed. Would have liked to do a little bit better for sure. 14.2 points per game for LiAngelo. Not the best. And we got this early matchup here up against the number 1 seeded Wizards. And we end up upsetting the number 1 seed here in 6 games, which is huge. Moving us on to the second round here up against the Hornets. We actually have Scottie Pippen Jr. and Zion both on this team now. Going to a Game 7 with them. And we have to clutch up here, boys, after upsetting the number 1 seed in the first round. It's coming down to it, and it's looking pretty decent for us here as we have a little bit of a lead. And it's going to come down to a nail biter here, boys. Oh my goodness. Ooh, it's looking good. It's looking good. 133 to 127 after a tough fought fourth. LiAngelo dropping a 15-point piece, which is good enough for me if it's getting us the dub. Second round here, Eastern Conference Finals here up against the Knicks and Ben Simmons. We knocked them out in 6. Moving us to the NBA Championship here up against the Thunder and Bronny James. And we get swept 4-0 with Bronny getting a Finals MVP, man. This kid is something crazy. Moving us into year 12 here, boys. Sky Clark getting MVP with his big afro. And let's check out where our Heat finished. We came in as the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, so not too bad. LiAngelo putting up 14.1 points per game. Still not doing anything too crazy, scoring a now 3-time All-Star. First round matchup, Eastern Conference Finals up against the Wizards yet again here. Of course, we upset them last year. Can we do it again? And we do. The 4 seed beating the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals. LiAngelo dropping 16 in that dub, getting us back to the finals up against Bronny and the OKC Thunder. Hopefully our luck's a little bit better this time, and we're fighting back a lot better here. Down 3-2, hopping into Simcast, seeing if we could push this to a Game 7, boys. And it's looking like it's really going to be close here. And another nail-biting finish, and we do end up taking it 113 to 107 there, boys. Getting us to Game 7 with an opportunity to win an NBA championship. We hop in. You see, we have a 3-point lead over this tough OKC Thunder team. And they are resilient, going in, getting the and 1, and ultimately tying this game up at 118 apiece. 47 seconds left here. LiAngelo going in with the little floater off the glass. 120 to 118. And they come right back. 35 seconds left on the shot clock. Tied 120 apiece. Little step back and boom, right in there. He drills it. 122 to 120, 27.5 left on the clock. And a little jelly there, making it all tied up. Clutch deep 2 there. 124 to 122. Obviously just enough time to throw it up. And that's all she wrote. LiAngelo Ball and the Miami Heat get themselves an NBA championship here in year 12 of the Sim, boys. A huge W. we definitely are interested to check out these kind of stats from this game and see who ends up actually getting Finals MVP here. So let's check it out. Who led our squad is the real question. So Cade and then LiAngelo, 24 points on 9 of 11 shooting. Cade Cunningham ultimately getting Finals MVP, doing his thing. And LiAngelo actually dipping out of Miami after that, which is a surprise. Maybe he went to go get a bag. He went to the Sixers here, and in year 13 and 89 overall, LiAngelo, who's starting to regress, did sign a 3-year contract. So I think he wanted to get the bag after that. Going to team up with Cole Anthony yet again, both further along in their career now. Sky Clark getting another MVP here with the Toronto Raptors. And let's see how our Sixers finished out. The number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, so not too bad at all. Cole Anthony still putting up 18.7 a game, and LiAngelo coming down to about 10.5 a game. Not what you like to see, but he did secure himself the bag. He's a 4-time All-Star, and he got an NBA championship. So not too much more, I guess you can ask for, right? Second round here up against the New York Knicks, who are coming in as the number 1 seed. And we get smoked by them 4-0. They go to the championship here up against, of course, our former team, the Portland Trail Blazers. And it's looking like the Knicks are going to fry them as well. Taking that game in 5 right there, moving us to year 14. LiAngelo still going down, 87 overall now. The Pistons get themselves an MVP here in Dwayne Hayward. And LiAngelo, 87 overall here in the playoffs. Let's check out what we got going on. First round matchup here up against the New York Knicks. And we get 4-0 swept by them yet again. That team is just our kryptonite here late in the sim. Raptors versus the Trailblazers here in the finals. Of course, Trailblazers, one of the 8 or 9 teams that our boy LiAngelo played with in this sim. Moving us on to year 15 and now 82 overall LiAngelo Ball. And is he actually starting still? He is starting, moved into that 2 guard spot. Actually, he's coming off the bench, but he's splitting time with the starter, so it is what it is. Jalen Lewis getting an MVP season here with the Utah Jazz, and we actually have a much better season than maybe I imagined, putting up 19.6 a game now at an 82 overall. So I guess that goes to show our team's maybe not the best, but we 4-1. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how. We just won that series in 5. Second round there, we win it in 7. And now we're in the Eastern Conference Finals with LiAngelo being the 3rd highest scorer on the team on the year. And we move back to the NBA Finals to ultimately get knocked out in 5. What a year that was, with LiAngelo averaging 19.6 at only an 82 overall. I mean, I'll take it, but definitely not what I was expecting, to say the very least. Moving us into year 16 here is the LiAngelo Ball on a new team now. Another one at that point. You see LaMelo still hanging in there. And LiAngelo Ball, 81 overall, now with the Raptors. Jeez, man, this dude is stacking up teams. Take a look. He spent Philly, Raptors, Heat, Portland, the Knicks, the Lakers, Orlando, and Detroit. So he's officially at 8 teams that he's played with right now. That is crazy. Coming off the bench now as well. And let's see how this year ends up going. 10.2, so huge regression from that 19.2 last season back down to earth. Wizards and the Nuggets in the finals here right now. And you see the Wizards still have Killian Hayes, their starting point guard position. And, I mean, mostly the Nuggets have traded guys at this point. And the Nuggets end up taking a Christian Brown, getting MVP. Looking to see where our guy is here, joining back to the Philadelphia 76ers here, now at a 79 overall after only 1 year of not being there. 3-time All-Star, 1-time NBA champion, 37 years old, 79 overall now, is LiAngelo Ball. Now coming off the end of the bench, getting 13 minutes a game. And our Sixers do end up making the playoffs, actually, coming in with 45 wins. And where is LiAngelo as far as all this goes? Only 5.3 points per game. Going to the finals here, obviously we get bounced pretty early by the Celtics, who end up going to the championship and losing in 7 here to the Grizzlies. And I think this might be the end of his career. Yep, LiAngelo does retire here. After a pretty solid career, we boosted his potential up a little bit so that he could actually be decent throughout the sim and not too unrealistic. So our guy ended up getting 3 All-Star appearances and 1 NBA championship. I went to look and see if any of the other Ball brothers made it on here, but unfortunately it only ended up being LaMelo. So boys, I hope you enjoyed this sim. If you made it all the way through, as always, comment GOAT, all capitals below, so I know you were a true Bean Squad supporter. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Bean out.